Okay, listener name, get ready, because we are diving deep into Elizabeth Gaskell's Cranford. And let me tell you, this is not your average sleepy Victorian novel.
Not at all.
It's got secrets, scandals, and a whole lot of heart. We've got a stack of sources right here ready to unpack all the juicy details about life in 19th century England.
What's so fascinating about Cranford is how it captures this period of immense change.
Yeah, like on the surface.
On the surface, you have this seemingly idyllic village, but underneath it all, Gaskell is subtly weaving in all these anxieties of a society on the brink of massive change. The Industrial Revolution is happening just off stage. But even in a place like Cranford, you can feel the ground shaking.
Oh, absolutely. From what I'm seeing in these sources, England is going through a complete transformation, factories popping up left and right, trains becoming all the rage. It's a whole new world.
Right.
But then you have Cranford holding on to tradition for dear life, especially the ladies.
And that's where it gets interesting. Imagine, these women are living in a world where their whole social structure is built around men, but these men are increasingly absent, You'd be building their empires in those booming industrial centers.
Oh, I see. So the women are holding down the fort back home, so to speak.
Exactly.
But the sources keep calling them Amazons. Now, I'm picturing warrior women fending off industrialists with teacups, which, honestly, I kind of love that image.
Well, it's not entirely inaccurate. Remember, this is Victorian England. Social standing was everything, especially for women. And these Amazons, as they were called, were mostly widows and spinsters. They had to create their own system, relying on each other. And I don't just mean for companionship.
You mean like...
I mean for survival.
Wow, so it's not just gossip over tea and crumpets. There are real stakes here.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of, let's talk about these characters, because there are some real personalities in this bunch. We've got Miss Maddie, who seems to be like the heart and soul of Cranford, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Miss Maddie, she embodies this poignant mix of kindness and naivete. She's clinging to memories of a lost love, yearning for stability in a time of immense change.
It's like she represents that part of us that just wants things to stay the same, even when everything around us is shifting.
Exactly.
And then you have her sister, Miss Jenkins. Now she sounds like, well, let's just say a real piece of work, like the enforcer of all things proper.
Oh, Miss Jenkins, even in her absence, spoiler alert, she doesn't make it very far into the book. She casts a long shadow over Cranford.
She does.
Oh, yeah. She represents those rigid social rules, that Victorian obsession with propriety.
Oh, I see. So we've got this clash of personalities, this sense of a world holding its breath against the inevitable tide of change.
Yes.
And then there's the narrator, our window into all of this. I feel like she has a foot in both worlds, The buzz of city life and then the quiet routines of Cranford.
Ah, the narrator. She's fantastic. She lets us see Cranford with this wonderful mix of affection and gentle satire.
Gentle satire.
Like that friend who can make you laugh at something, even while they're secretly charmed by it.
I know, right?
That's her.
Okay, so we've got the stage set.
Yeah.
A town caught between clinging to tradition and facing the modern world. A cast of characters that practically leap off the page.
They really do.
And this undercurrent of anticipation for what exactly?
Yeah.
What throws Cranford into a tailspin?
Yeah.
Because something tells me a dropped teacup isn't going to cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So Cranford is this little bubble of tradition. But from what I'm seeing here in the sources, it's about to get a huge reality check.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're talking a robbery.
A robbery.
And not just any robbery.
Right.
But one that really sends the rumor mill into overdrive.
Well, of course. I mean, imagine you have these women living in a world where even a misplaced shawl is cause for gossip.
Right.
And then suddenly valuables start disappearing.
Oh my God.
Talk about chaos. And of course, their suspicions immediately fall on the ultimate outsider.
Signor Brunoni.
Exactly. The traveling magician.
Oh, with his mysterious ways and his dramatic flair, honestly, I'd be suspicious too.
Right.
It's like something straight out of a penny dreadful.
But that's the thing, isn't it? He becomes a scapegoat for all their fears about the changing world.
Oh, totally.
About these unknown forces disrupting their carefully ordered lives. It's like their deepest anxieties are taking on like a physical form.
It reminds me of how we get today, Instead of like a mysterious magician, it's the algorithm or the robots.
Right.
Or whatever the latest technology is being blamed for everything that feels uncertain, right?
Yes. It's like this primal human need to pinpoint a source for our anxieties,
right,
even if it's misplaced.
Totally. But Gaskell doesn't stop there, no.
Yeah.
She throws another curveball this time, a financial one.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Maddie and her investments.
Oh, no.
Talk about a plot twist that hits close to home, even for us modern folks.
For sure.
The bank failure, oh man, that's brutal. It's like one minute she's the picture of Victorian respectability, and the next she's facing financial ruin.
It's true.
It makes you realize how precarious their world really was.
It does.
Despite all those, those social rules.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is where we see the true heart of Cranford come through.
Okay.
In the face of genuine hardship, these women, these so-called Amazons, they band together.
Yeah.
They put aside their social anxieties, their obsession with appearances, and they rally around Miss Maddie.
That's so sweet.
With incredible resourcefulness.
What do they do?
Well, they even help her set up a shop in her own home.
We do.
They do. To sell tea.
Talk about making lemonade out of lemons.
I know, right?
It's heartwarming, but it also just makes you realize, like, how vulnerable they were, even within, their little bubble of tradition.
Absolutely, and it highlights this kind of unspoken pact that exists within their community. They understand that today it's Miss Maddie, but tomorrow it could be any one of them needing that helping hand.
Oh, totally.
And they'll be there for each other.
Okay, so we've got intrigue, economic turmoil, and then, bam. The long-lost brother.
Oh my gosh,
returns from the dead.
He does.
Back from India after all these years.
Oh, yeah.
It's like every time Cranford settles down, something new shakes it up again.
I know. It's true.
So Peter's return, though, it's going to be a big deal. Right?
Oh, absolutely. It's fascinating on a few levels. On the surface, it's this joyful reunion, right? It's this answer to Miss Maddie's quiet longing for family. But on a deeper level, it represents the return of the repressed, so to speak.
Okay, intrigued. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. Peter, he embodies the very world that Cranford has tried so hard to keep at bay. The world of industry, of colonial expansion, of change happening at breakneck speed. He's a living reminder that they can't outrun progress forever.
It's like Gaskell is holding up a mirror to their perfectly arranged parlors and saying, hey, the world's a lot bigger than this, and it's knocking at your door.
Oh, absolutely. And, that's what makes Cranford so relevant, even for us today, right?
Totally.
We might not be, fretting over calling cards and social calls, but that feeling of the world changing faster than we can keep up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's universal.
It's like those moments when you're scrolling through social media and you're like, wait, what? What is this? What is this new trend, this new technology? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm already so far behind.
Exactly. You feel left behind, and it's like in your own living room.
Right, exactly. So we've talked about the characters, the scandals, the return of the not-so-dead brother. But, what's the big takeaway here? Why should we, in the 21st century, care about a bunch of Victorian ladies in a sleepy English village?
Because Cranford isn't just a charming period piece, right? It's a study of human nature. It's about the things that connect us, across time and circumstance.
Yeah.
Take the power of community, for example.
Yeah.
These women, I mean, as quirky and obsessed with social rules as they were.
Oh, my gosh.
They show up for each other in these really remarkable ways. They understood that even with all its complexities and unspoken rules, community is essential. It's like they had figured out what we're still struggling to remember today, which is that we're stronger together.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
And let's be real. They weren't just sharing recipes and gardening tips, right?
No.
These women were navigating financial ruin, social upheaval, even the fear of crime, and all within this very confined world.
I know. Talk about resilience.
Seriously.
I mean, and they did it with this mix of practicality and dare I say it, a touch of humor.
Right.
Remember when they set up that secret society to support Miss Maddie? They didn't just sit around lamenting their fate,
Right.
They took action. They adapted. They found ways to thrive within the confines of their circumstances.
Like they were the original side hustle queens. And amidst all this change and uncertainty, Gaskell gives us this little glimmer of romance.
Oh yeah.
Miss Maddie and Mr. Holbrook.
It's a slow burn.
Talk about a slow burn.
Yeah.
But there's something so hopeful about it, right? Their reunion after all these years.
It is. It's this nice reminder that connection, second chances, even love can blossom in the most unexpected places, even in the face of loss and change.
It's true. Well, listener name, there you have it. Your deep dive into Cranford. It's more than just a quaint story about a bygone era.
Oh, for sure.
It's a powerful reminder that the human experience, with all its joys and sorrows, it transcends time.
And if we pay attention, we might just find that these seemingly simple stories, they hold these really profound truths about who we are, how we connect, and what it means to navigate a world that's constantly changing.
Who knew a trip to Cranford could be so enlightening?
I know, right?